Hey guys, it's Jeff from Patriot Training Center. Today's video is going to be about cross-eye dominance. Cross-eye dominance is something that happens when your dominant eye and your dominant hand do not match up, and it can affect your shooting quite a bit. So what I mean by this, you may be right hand dominant, but you may be left eye dominant. This is not as big of a problem as it may seem. I'm actually a cross-eye dominant shooter and been shooting that way my entire life. So the first thing you need to do is figure out what eye dominance you actually have, and there's a couple of tests for that you can find on the internet. So one simple way to do an eye dominance test is to basically just take your hands, put them together, make a small circle, pick out a spot on the wall a little ways away from you or wherever you're at, and get that object in focus and bring your hands back to your eyes to where you can just focus solely on that die. Now what you do at this point is you just close your right eye. If the object stays in there, then you're left eye dominant. If you close your left eye and the object stays inside of your little circle, then you're right eye dominant. So how do we deal with this if we are cross-eye dominant? If you're a right-handed dominant shooter like myself with a left eye that is dominant, there's a couple things that you can do. And it's fairly simple. For me personally, all that I do is when I present the gun on target, I simply cant the gun very slightly. As you can see, instead of it being straight up and down, the gun is canted ever so slightly, and I turn my head just a little bit. And what that does is it brings the gun over to my left eye where I can get my sight alignment, sight picture with that dominant eye. So that's the easiest way to do it for me personally. Another way that works for a lot of people is to simply keep the gun and bring it over to that dominant eye. So as a right-handed shooter with a left eye dominant, again, I slightly cant the pistol and slightly tilt my head. Or I can just simply bring the gun over to my left eye. So if I'm a left-handed shooter with a right eye dominant, it's no different. I simply cant the pistol just a little bit and tilt my head just a little bit to get those sights in line. Some people will tell you that if you're right-hand dominant but you're left eye dominant, you need to switch and become a left-handed dominant shooter. That's not necessarily the case. It's really not as big of a deal as some people have made it out to be in the past. And again, what works for me, simply cant the pistol just a little bit, tilt my head, that brings the sights to my dominant eye, and I have no issues with that whatsoever. What you will have to do though, is you work through this and figure out what works best for you, is a lot of repetition and a lot of good repetition to form those solid fundamentals with presenting that pistol to your dominant eye. A lot of this can be done through dry work. You can simply put a target on the wall, have a blue gun like I've got here, or completely unload your gun, check it clear, make sure there's no magazines or ammunition in the room with you, and do it dry. And just simply work from a ready position and work on presenting that gun to target with it coming to your dominant eye. And this really does not affect your shooting and your accuracy whatsoever. I can make good hits out well past 15, 25 yards without issue. So the cross-eye dominance does not have to be something that drags you down. Just put that work into it, figure out what system works for you, and put that work in, put the dry work in, put the live fire work in, and you'll see in time it's very, very easy to overcome this issue. So hope you found that informative. If you have any more questions, just shoot us a message.